Tonight on SPTV News, elections and update on the tobacco-free campus at the UW Stevens Point campus. Stay tuned.
And now Milica Mitrovic in her second year with SPTV News.
Good evening, Stevens Point. Tuesday was a day to remember, with the primary midterm elections ending with a close vote. Scott Walker was re-elected as Wisconsin's governor and beating out former Trek bicycle executive Mary Burke with 52% of the votes. Also unique this year, Wisconsin saw one of the largest turnouts in the last 50 years. Locally, UWSP had the largest number of pre-registered voters over any other UW system school.
It was really successful yesterday in the second district, which is where the polling location was the recreation center over by the old Mid-State. About 920 total ballots cast. That's where Sweets, Prey Sims, Maroch, and Smith Hall voted. The third district, which was right here in the DUC, had 829. There were a lot of students who casted a ballot there. At least over half of those ballots were students, I know that. And then the 11th district, which included Burroughs, Knutson, Thompson, Watson, that voted at the Visitor Center. That was 769 total ballots cast.
300 passengers being shuttled in the area alone really shows how our students use their right to vote. Well, another new happening on campus this Friday, an opportunity for students will get them thinking about their future careers in the broadcast industry. WSAW anchors will speak to students about the challenges and rewards in the industry. Students will then get the chance to network with these professionals and start thinking about life after graduation. The event will take place right here in the SPTV studio at 10 a.m. Food and beverages will be provided, and anyone is welcome to attend. Tobacco users at UWSP had adjusted to new rules on campus. SPTV's Emily Mergson has more on Health Services' response to the new policy.
At the beginning of the school year, a ban on tobacco began on the UWSP campus. Basically, all students have to use tobacco products outside of campus boundaries.
There are also a lot of questions about the campus boundary. We do have on the Student Health Service website, there's a tab on the left that is all of the tobacco-free campus information is listed there, and there's a campus map with the boundaries outlined so people can really clearly tell where can I smoke or use tobacco and where shouldn't I.
Students and faculty members using tobacco off campus raised some eyebrows in the housing communities near UWSP. But the Health Services and Student Health Advisory Committee worked with the neighbors to our campus.
I think going into this, people had a lot of concerns about the amount of litter that would occur on campus. So we actively did outreach with the Old Main Neighborhood Association and everybody that has a residence on the periphery of campus. We went around, knocked on doors, we supplied them with do not litter signs. Free of charge so that they could post those in their yards to try to help with the litter issue or the potential for litter issue.
Students have had to make changes in their habits as well, like walking outside the boundaries of campus to use their tobacco products.
People have been really responsible about making sure that they clean up and like she said, we've had a lot of students that have been incredibly responsible about picking up and making sure they're respectful of our neighbors.
With winter weather soon approaching, changes will need to be made with students and cleanup.
Maybe because it is colder, maybe we'll have more people come into Student Health Services looking for cessation products. For our smokers, we are concerned about, after winter ends, making sure to pick up all of the butts that will be left behind after the snow melts.
If you would like more information on the tobacco-free policy, visit the UWSP Health Services website. This has been Emily Margison with SPTV News.
The Student Health Advisory Committee is always looking for volunteers to help with cleanup. In September of 1998, Amber Wilde, a 19-year-old pregnant UW Green Bay student, was reported missing, and no other leads have surfaced since. Until yesterday, Green Bay police were granted a warrant to a 30-acre area near Wapaka owned by a relative to someone who knew Wilde. The authorities believe this is a homicide case, but the family still has hope that Wilde could be alive. Unlike a victim of an accident, Wilde's body was never found.
And now Ben Zitouni in his first year with your SPTV Sports.
The UW Stevens Point Pointers football team was back in action this past weekend as they took on the Titans of UW Oshkosh. It was a rough game overall for the Pointers as they were beat for the first time at home this year, 21-7. With Kyle Larson down for the year with an ankle injury, Cody Nuremberg got the start. It was the junior's first start as a Pointer, and while he looked good at times, he did end up throwing 2 crucial interceptions. He finished the game going just 17 for 39 with a touchdown and 2 interceptions. He will be the starter for the Pointers the rest of the way this season. On the defensive side of things, the Pointers did not look to be themselves on the day, as Oshkosh burned the squad with 3 big plays that resulted in touchdowns. The Pointers head to UW Whitewater this next weekend in a crucial matchup that has major playoff implications. It's a winner-go-home game for the Pointers, and it should be a good one. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock. Women's volleyball continues to do well as they won all 3 of their matches over the weekend. They are 27-4 on the year and look to be on absolute fire right now. The Pointers will be hosting this year's Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference Tournament this upcoming weekend. Best of luck to them as they near the postseason. Men's hockey was in action this past weekend as they took on Finlandia. There are high expectations this year as the Pointers come into the season ranked number 2 overall in the nation. They look deserving of that ranking this past weekend as they won 11-0. Nick Diavolio led the Pointers in scoring as he scored 2 goals on the evening. The Pointers scored 6 goals in the opening period, and that set the tone early as they never let off the gas pedal. Coach Brooks and his team are set to take on Gustavus Adolphus this weekend. Now on to some Big Ten news. The Badgers are on a hot streak at the moment as they took on Rutgers this past weekend. They defeated the Scarlet Knights 37-0 as the Badgers keep their Big Ten Conference championship hopes alive. Melvin Gordon looked dominant once again as he ran for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Badgers defense also stepped it up and is now ranked first nationally in yards allowed per game. The Badgers' next opponent is Purdue this Saturday. In NFL news this week, the Green Bay Packers will be back in action this next weekend as they take on the Chicago Bears. Coming off a bye week, this will be a very pivotal game in both the NFC North and NFC playoff race. The game will take place in primetime as the Packers host the Bears at Lambeau Field Sunday night. Kickoff is at 7:30. The Packers have also decided to part ways with Derek Sherrod. The right tackle was released this week following a terrible performance for 4 games when starting right tackle Brian Bulaga was hurt. As a former first-round pick selection by the Packers in 2011, Sherrod did not live up to the expectations. That's all we have for sports tonight. Make sure to check out Final Take on demand on YouTube and on our SPTV website. After the break, why Bollywood is now allowing women to be makeup artists. Laura Braun has the story.